You're watching Drake Wing Gaming. Enjoy the video.
Guys and gals, Nary here from Drake Wing Gaming. Some of you me on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon. Today I'm coming back at you another Let's Play episode of Adastra. So, ladies and gents, let's go ahead and jump right back in, shall we? We were just talking to Amicus down in the dungeons. Anyway, y'all, please sit back and enjoy for the next 18 minutes to entertain you. And let's jump right in. Alarm chain, you are up, and let's go. Alright. I love you so much. I love you too. Time limit has been reached. Please proceed to the ladder, Kyllian. Please proceed to your cell, Amicus. Amicus's embrace doesn't loosen. Instead, he lowers his head to kiss me. I kiss back. Please untangle your limbs and oral cavities and proceed to your respective directives. Amicus huffs in a noise before drawing back. And I'll be back. I just need to ask Cassius for the right times. All right. There's much more I want to say to you, so please return soon if you possibly can. Of course, as soon as I can. Amicus gives me a small smile, and though I see tears in his eyes, they don't overflow this time. The journey back to Neferu's room is when it all hits me at once, and I have to constantly wipe my eyes in case someone like Alex, Neferu, or Cato comes around the corner and sees me. I already desperately miss Amicus, and now that I've just left him, I'm reminded of how alone I feel now that he's not always by my side. Next time I visit, I'll bring a bunch of stuff to say, do, and eat. Can't imagine the dungeon food is any good. Maybe we can find more privacy next time, and we'll be able to plan things out. Maybe pass information on to him somehow. The thought of this makes me feel a little bit better, and my eyes are mostly dry as I near the Jackal's room. It's at that moment that I get a strange whiff of something in the air. Like, mothballs? That's all that comes to mind. It's something that I've never really smelled in the palace before, so I find myself pausing in the hallway looking around. Things seems out of place. It's quiet and bright, as it usually is, but that's when I realize where I am. There's a door to my left, and I immediately know that's the meditation room. Remember then that Cassius mentioned that he wanted to meditate, to talk to the parents. Is he in there doing that right now? Is that that smell part of it? I'm reminded of the night I first met Amicus, that I'd smelled something like burning rubber in the air. This isn't that, but I have to wonder if maybe the parents emit this odd smell when they arrive. I stand there for a while, listening. I don't hear anything, but that smell continues, and I know now that it's definitely coming from that room. My eyes are squarely locked on the black panel. I want to open it, but I know I can't. If Cassius really is in the middle of talking to the parents, I could ruin everything. So I start to turn away, deciding that I'll ask Neferu what might be going on in there. But as I do, the door opens and a cloud of billowing white smoke comes out. I gasp and jump back, seeing a figure standing in the doorway. It's Cassius, and he's hacking and coughing, gasping for breath. I can see that he's shaking, too, and I'm about to back away when he locks eyes on me. His eyes are wide, bloodshot, and I can see what looks like vomit on his chest. His muzzle hangs open as if trying to talk to me. He's hyperventilating, though, and that's finally when I step forward. Cassius, are you okay? I have to walk into the cloud to get to him, and I'm enveloped in that chemical smell, immediately coughing out the acrid smoke. Help me! Cassius reaches out to me, and I catch his paw. Immediately, he slumps against me, and I stumble under his significant weight. Nowhere near to that of Amicus, but he is a wolf after all. What happened? I try to peer into the room, but it's so smoky. I see what looks like a little fire in the middle, though, a pot burning something inside. Did Cassius hotbox himself with something? Parents! Demons! I don't know what to do. At first, I start to try and pull Cassius along towards Neferu's room, but I immediately switch course, deciding that I definitely won't make it. Amicus's room is closer. I just hope I can still get in there. I can't! Cassius whines and then suddenly lets out a retch. I try to ignore it, just kind of hoping that someone else will come around the whole corner to help me, even if it's Cato. As I'm thinking this, I realize that the hall seems to stretch further and further ahead of me. The light takes on an odd quality, strangely sharp and bright, and just like that, I instantly fall into what feels like a dream. Ooh. God damn it, what were you smoking? Parents! Cassius squeaks. I'm angry, not just because of this dumb wolf got me high on who knows what, because I'm realizing that this is what Cassius was referring to when he said traditional technique of contacting the parents had worked. All he was doing was getting high on some DMT shit. Is this how it's always been? Are the wolves, all the aliens, just getting their crazy parent ideas from some drug? The hall continues to extend ahead of me, and suddenly I feel like I'm looping in time, like time doesn't matter at all anymore. I can see why Cassius is panicking. I'm starting to myself. After what seems like an eternity, I manage to find Amicus's door. Shakily, I reach out and press the panel. The door sliding open. I practically throw Cassius onto the bed. He seems to have stopped blubbering at this point. I collapse onto the sofa. I collapse onto the sofa, my anger at the wolves and so-called parents dissipating from my mind as the high increases. I raise my hands in front of my face and immediately regret it as they start to stretch and bend. I quickly jerk them back to my chest, hugging myself, trying to keep my breathing under control. It feels like I'm sinking into a crater, like the ceiling is raising up above me, and that time won't start moving again. I gasp and clutch at the cushions, shutting my eyes, trying to calm myself down. You seem to be worried about something. Want a stress tablet to help you out? That voice, that sounds kind of like calm, kind of not. They help you chill. What? The confusion over Calm's voice melts away as mercifully darkness overtakes me. I'm relieved to find myself back up in space. I float, content, calm, happy, even though I sense someone watching me, just behind me. Behind me? There is no behind me because I don't have a body anymore. Instead, the feeling creeps just outside of my awareness. Whenever I try to focus on it, it slips away. So instead of just letting it go, floating in space, feeling almost nothing, and feeling nothing right now after everything feels good. But after a moment, I start to get vague, far-off feelings. And not my own feelings, but the feelings of others, and I pick them up like distant whispers. We've interfered far too much already. Nothing goes to plan with the wolves. It must be done. I'm only half listening, coasting on waves of soothing, empty space. If this is how the drug makes you feel, I'm pretty into it. The more we interfere, the harder it will be to predict anything. There's no other choice. The voice feeling cease at this point, and then I continue to ripple on the waves of the universe. That's when I notice something appearing in the center of my infinite space. I've seen this thing before, I think. Dreams that had flooded my mind the moment I'd woken up suddenly come flooding back. I focus on this being, this creature that's been following me since I was abducted. He looms there, staring at me, even though I'm everywhere at once. The silence goes on for a while, or maybe not. I still don't have any sense of time. That is until the creature speaks. Kyllian! The voice is deep and masculine, rumbling through my being. I wait a moment, then try to acknowledge him, made difficult by the fact that I don't have a mouth to speak with. If you wish to communicate, then do so. I can hear you. What? I try to think of the word at him. It's slow and clumsy in my mind. I just wish that I could talk. There's a rumble of amusement through the air. If you desire a body, simply will it to be. The loss of self is a disturbing feeling for you creatures, I know. What he's saying doesn't make all that much sense, but I try anyway, and just like that I feel my being start to pull together. I start to materialize right in front of the creature, and I see my hands in front of myself again. When I look down, I see my body, naked. As soon as I see that, I feel a shock of embarrassment, and my robe suddenly appears on my body. I still don't feel right. Like I'm still not in this body, that I see. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, okay, that'll work. Still, it does feel better, and I'm able to open my mouth. What is this? My mouth feels strange and rubbery, and at the same time, it feels like cotton is coating the inside. This is... For the first time, the creature seems unsure of what he could say. Well, it's a bit complicated to explain, but it's simply a space where you and I might be able to communicate peacefully. It's not really an answer. No, but if I were to explain it in depth, it would waste the small amount of time we have together and confuse you even further. I try to stay focused, wanting to know as much about this guy as I can before the drug wears off. You're a parent? That rumbling laughter tickles at the edge of my existence again. Huh! No, definitely not. I'm a monitor. Monitor? Icy fear trickles down my imagined spine as I realize what this all might mean. Monitor quickly holds up a paw. No, don't worry. You're not in trouble. I watch him cautiously, as if he's only lulling me into a false sense of security before annihilating me on the spot. Again, that feeling of amusement. Now, that would be impossible to do here. I try to keep my thoughts focused. And what about Amicus? Is he in trouble? No. He only did what we had planned for him to do. Planned? There's a pause, as if the monitor is gathering his thoughts. No, I'm simply receiving instructions. From? The parents. I stare at him. They're talking to you? Yes, about you and what I can and cannot tell you. Why don't they just talk to me then? Because they cannot. Direct communication is impossible. Then how? I was specifically designed to be a bridge between your, let's say, dimension and theirs. I don't really know what to think about that, but I get the feeling that I shouldn't be distracted by these things right now. That would be wise. So, what do you mean planned? The parents set Amicus up somehow? Your abduction and introduction to the Wolven Empire was meant to happen. Why? Another slight pause. The wolves could single-handedly undo the Galaxius, but you can change that. I frowned, feeling some anxiety slip through the drug-induced calm. What? How? The wolves are a stubborn sibling. Possibly a mistake made at the very beginning, but the parents can still see the correct path and destination. See? Can they see the future or something? In a way, yes. Their mind exists in many times at once. I'm starting to become lost, and suddenly I begin to feel like a primitive life form, incapable of understanding this ancient alien monolith before me. Do not feel that way. You yourself may not understand, but your species as a whole is more than capable. My mind automatically thinks back to how we were abandoned by the wolves, by maybe even the jackals too. You were abandoned by all the siblings. For a single moment, multiple images of several different creatures crossed my mind. A bear, a wolf, a jackal, a lion, a ram. They're all recognizable, and what they wear is recognizable too, reminding me of several different cultures on Earth. The images finally stop on a tiger in a flowing dress with intricate designs and patterns. It looks like a sari draped over her shoulder. As the image fades from my mind, somehow I know immediately that it's Mira. Yes, we reined in the wolves once before with the help of the Hindos, but it lasted for a far shorter period of time than we'd foreseen. That's why we've turned to you to play her ancient role. But we're not part of the Galaxius. Everyone failed at uplifting us, so isn't something wrong with us? Another pause. In a way, yes, but after the attempts, all of the parents realized that humans would factor into the Galaxius later. Now. All? Aren't the parents competing with each other? This time I only get silence in response. I wonder if he's just been told that he can't tell me that. So, what am I supposed to do? What do you want with me? The answer this time is immediate. Restore Amicus to his rightful place on the throne. Wait, but there isn't any other explanation. And? How do I do that? Silence. Why me? More silence. I blow out air in frustration and try to since nothing comes out. Why can't you just all tell me what to do? You brought me here, didn't you? Just tell me. Nothing. I'm about to just give up. Wait out the trip when the monitor begins speaking again. Interference often leads to destabilization of the events that would follow. The events that should follow. The Galaxius must develop and learn in its own way. Excuse me. Except for now, right? This is interfering, isn't it? Except for in various instances where the children and siblings stray too far off course. This time I'm the one left unsure of what to say. I'd always seen the parents as all-knowing beings with only good intentions for their children, but now? How do I know they can even be trusted? What do I do? What I do know is that the monitor is apparently able to hear all my thoughts, so he definitely heard that. Still, he doesn't say anything, just regarding me silently. So, I guess you can't tell me what the purpose of all this is, then? The Galaxies as a whole? That knowledge has not been earned by the Sapients yet. My mistrust grows. Well, can you give me something, anything that might help me with getting Amicus out of the dungeon? If I'm straying off the course, then tell me how to get back on it. The monitor pauses for a moment, as if getting more information from the parents. Watch the cat. The cat. Alexios? I wait, but again, I get silence. I shake my head. If the parents really are all-knowing and all-powerful, then why can't they just tell me? We are neither of these things, hence why we must be so careful. I stand there, unsure of what else to do. I look around. Is Cassius alright? The False Emperor? Yes, he's somewhere around here. The False Emperor. Oh my god, getting 40k vibes. The False Emperor sits on his corpse throne. The monitor looks almost dismissively. Did he hear us? No, he's too busy panicking, a side effect of being a coward imposter. I frown, feeling that's a bit harsh, even on someone like Cassius. Can you help him? Maybe bring him here? I get a feeling from the monitor that I can only describe as an annoyed sigh. I suppose. A few moments pass before I start to see something appear next to me. The unmistakable shape of Cassius materializes, frightened and shaking. He immediately sees me. Kyllian! Where are we? What's happened? Are you... Then he sees the monitor. Ah! He jumps behind me, shielding himself from the creature. The demon! Help me! I get that feeling of amusement from the dragon creature again, and I frown. Have you been scaring him? I get the feeling of a shrug from the creature. If he's scared, then that's his choice. And the parents are okay with you doing that? Possibly not, but the white wolf means little to them. What? It seems to get Cassius's attention, and he pokes his head around my side to glare at the monitor. Excuse me, but I'm the Emperor. No, you are not. I frown, the scene growing more and more surreal before me. Excuse me? Cassius seems unable to think of anything else to say. Just as I'm about to step between the two of them, I find myself unable to hold my consciousness together any longer, and I begin to drift off. Slowly I come to on the sofa, my eyes cracking open as I wince at the throbbing headache I have. There's a cold sensation around my mouth, and I reach up to feel that I've been drooling all over myself. I roll over, feeling a wave of dizziness as I do. I pause there, waiting for the wooziness to pass. When it finally does, I'm able to focus better on my surroundings. I stare a full 10 seconds before I remember where I am, and what I'm doing there. I look over at the bed and see Cassius lying spread eagle on the covers, his eyes fluttering. I watch him for a while, realizing that he's still unconscious. He did take in a lot more of the drug than I had, so I guess that makes sense. Very slowly, I slide my legs off the sofa, and sit there as a second dizzy spell overtakes me. I wait a solid minute for this one to pass, so that when I stand up, I don't end up just falling over. When I'm able to do that, I stumble to the bathroom, feeling more and more clear-headed by the second. When I get to the sink, I rest there, staring at myself in the mirror. My eyes are red and my hair's messed up in every direction. I wet one of the towels and wash my face, and by the time I'm finished, I feel mostly better. As I rest there against the sink, I think back to what just happened. Not just the drug trip I've been sent on, but what I've been told. All the dreams I'd had since being on this moon. I remember everything. I don't know if it's real or not, if I'd really just spoken to the parents. It had seemed too intricate to not be real. My mind wouldn't be able to make up something like that. Would it? Then again, I don't know what Cassius was smoking. As if on cue, I hear the wolf snort in the bedroom, and I make my way out of the bathroom, finding Cassius on his side now, facing away from me. Cassius? Slowly, I walk around the bed and see that the wolf's eyes, just as red as mine, are open, staring off into space. I try again. Cassius, are you okay? The wolf mumbles something, not even looking at me. I walk up to the side of the bed, reaching out tentatively before gently touching him on the arm. That seems to jolt him from his daze, and he jerks away, gasping in surprise and fear as he pulls back and looks up at me. Alright, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and pause it right here. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, leave a super thanks or a tip if you can, it always helps. Until the next video, I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!